So tell me a secret.
Well, when we all started working from home, part of me thought I was gonna just embrace the whole, get up and get ready thing, and I never have.
Yeah, right.
I have just gone absolute total lazy.
Of course.
And here's how I do it. When I have an early Zoom meeting for work, I sleep in until the absolute last minute. And then I'll get up, and then right before the meeting, I'll wet my hair so it looks like I'm fresh out of the shower when I hit that camera on button on the Zoom call. And everybody thinks I just got ready for work. It's the best way to cheat it.
You know what? I think I'm going to do that too now.
So I'm just a typical suburban mom, I would say.
With a secret.
Yes.
Our typical suburban mom's secret will surprise you.
You made a conscious decision not to tell anybody, including your family, right?
Correct.
So why is that?
Well, basically, seeing that I'm a married person, I'm going to be reaching out to strangers and having conversations with men.
Her secret is about more than something she did. It's about a journey.
So interesting.
These are things I would have never known about.
She stumbled into a subculture naively.
It took a little while to figure out what was exactly going on.
And the deeper she went, the more she learned about people.
So I'd say, so where on the East Coast are you from? And that would startle them. They'd say, how would you know that?
And the different types she had to deal with.
They call themselves sugar daddies, and they're looking for sugar babies. It sounds silly.
Stay with me as my guest reveals her secret.
My name is Amy, and my secret is that I made money from an anonymous fetish account on Instagram with over 20,000 followers.
Welcome to The Secret Room, a podcast about the stories no one ever tells. I'm Ben Ham. Just making sure I didn't forget anything. Okay. Well, here we go.
All right.
Hi, Amy. Welcome to The Secret Room.
Thanks for having me.
Amy, you have a very interesting secret.
I do.
Before we get into it, I have a couple of quick questions.
Yes.
Can you tell me first about yourself and your family life?
Okay.
Just so we can get a picture of you.
Sure. I am 42 years old. I have been married for 20 years. I have children, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years, and I've been back working for the last 5 years, part-time. So I'm just a typical suburban mom, I would say.
With a secret.
Yes.
And you like podcasts, right?
I do, very much so.
And there was a podcast that led you down this particular rabbit hole, right?
Yes, there was.
Can you tell me about the episode that I'm referring to?
Sure.
Okay.
The podcast is a comedy podcast. I've been listening to it for about 8 years. It's called Your Mom's House Podcast. There was an episode, I remember exactly where I was when I was listening to it. It was in May that I was listening to it of 2019, I believe. And it was basically about alternative ways of making side money.
Okay.
I found it very intriguing of how in this day of age, there's so many different ways that men or women could make some side cash.
Yeah, I'm open to ideas.
Well, I can give you, would you like to have me tell you a couple of things that they shared?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, this is a comedy podcast.
Okay.
So they were being a little bit silly about it, but, they were talking about one thing that's called financial dominance. That's working with a person basically begging to give you money, and they're called a cash pig. They were talking about selling dirty clothes or dirty panties, and they were also talking about being a foot model, and also like things in the BDSM world too.
Okay. Did they give an idea of how much money could be realized chasing one of these?
They did have a woman when they do certain topics, they usually touch on the same topic once or twice more in further podcasts. And they had someone write in and they said that they were being a foot model and she was making like $600 a month by taking pictures of her feet.
So a little extra pocket change, not bad for not a lot of effort.
Exactly.
Right. And that sounded appealing to you?
It sounded really interesting to me because I really enjoy taking photographs, and I'm a very petite person, and my feet are actually abnormally small, and I have a foot tattoo. So I thought, well, maybe I have a niche market of looking a little different from the average female foot. So I thought, well, that would be kind of interesting. I wonder how that would go.
Wow. Selling pictures of your feet?
Yeah, I mean, just the whole idea of how could this make money, and how different of a alternative thing is this, and where could this go?
How did they suggest that you make money with your feet?
Sure. Basically, they were talking about having an Instagram account, basically promoting by having pictures, and then promoting doing custom pictures.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have an Instagram account, if I'm following this right, that
Yes.
you'd load up with pictures of your feet, and then you would refer them, your followers, to some other means by which they could pay you for personalized custom pictures.
Correct. Or videos.
Or videos.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, this is something that you decided to pursue.
Yes. And going into this, I kept thinking to myself about how sometimes you see a child where they're like, I'm going to be a famous person on YouTube, and I'm going to have this YouTube channel, and then nothing, they just have grandma and the next door neighbor be subscribers, and then nothing happens. And I thought, nothing's going to happen. No one's going to look at these pictures. Nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be a fun thing I'm going to do for a week or two, and then I'll move on and, start to knit or, get back to my garden, whatever.
Okay, so when did you launch your Instagram account?
It was October of last year, October 2019.
Did you have a sense of excitement about it, or was it just kind of like another day?
I was a little bit excited because, to be honest, I really didn't quite know 100% about using Instagram. So I was kind of jumping into a pool quite not knowing how deep it was or knowing much about it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
What was your goal?
That's a good question. I guess my goal was to, I don't know, I guess maybe make some pocket change. I don't know, maybe $50 here or there.
So you did enter it as a commercial endeavor, but you weren't looking to, support yourself on it.
Correct. Yes. I was looking for just some fun side cash to have.
And so you started, of course, with 0 followers.
Correct.
How many do you have now?
Right now, actually, let me bring up my account while we talk.
Okay.
I think I have about 20,600 followers.
It's amazing. So you've
Yeah.
achieved that in...
It's not quite a year yet.
Wow.
I live in a small town, and I was looking at their Instagram page, and they have 1,200 followers.
Yeah.
I was trying to compare it to something, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
I mean, you're doing super well.
Yeah, I guess.
I think that's pretty impressive. You're an influencer.
Yes, it is. And I would also get approached many times from people rising up trying to get a following, and they would want me to give them shout outs on my page. That's definitely a thing.
When you started, you made a conscious decision not to tell anybody, including your family, right?
Correct.
So why is that?
Well, basically, seeing that I'm a married person, I'm going to be reaching out to strangers and having conversations with men. And with being married and being in the relationship with my husband, there's been many times where I've wanted to start up some type of entrepreneur endeavor, like selling home products or selling some type of makeup products. And I would kind of get excited about it. And then he would be the devil's advocate and show me, well, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And these are the negative things. And then I would quit on it. So I thought, well, if I'm in a bomb on this, he doesn't have to know that I'm even going to start this. So that's kind of how it began.
Okay. You've got your secret project. You've launched your Instagram account, and you're planning to post pictures of your feet.
Correct.
Can you describe your feet for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm 5'1", if that helps at all. And my feet are about a 5.5. My toes are at a perfect angle where I could put a ruler against my big toe and put it at an angle, and all my toes would hit it at an angle. you can look up, there's so many different positionings of toes, but I guess that's angling is preferred by some people.
Sounds like you've learned a lot on your journey.
I have learned way more than I thought I would ever need to learn. I have very, very high arches, and I have a tattoo on one of my feet.
So that's something that distinguishes you and is attractive to your followers?
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely unique. And I've learned so much about all the things that people look for in feet pictures too.
Tell me about that.
I initially thought that I initially started modeling with my toenails being nude, meaning no nail polish. And I found out that having color on my toenails were a preferred thing. But the majority of followers are actually looking not at my toes. They're actually looking at the soles of my feet and the actual scrunched up wrinkles of the back of my feet. So if I were to bend my toes over and make my feet scrunch, the wrinkles is actually the primary interesting thing that most people are looking for.
So you learned that from your followers, like I presume from feedback you got, comments people made.
Yes, there's many different types of poses that foot models can use. One is just showing the curve of the arch or the front of the foot, but the back of the foot with the feet scrunched up showing the wrinkles gets the most responses.
So interesting.
Yes, it is. And again, these are things I would have never known about. And I never thought that being a foot model would be something that is part of a different culture. I thought it was more of something somebody appreciate, but there's so much more that goes into that.
I'm pulling up your page right now.
Okay.
Scrolling way, way back down to the bottom.
All the way to the, okay.
Yeah, to the beginning. You have 732 posts.
Yes.
That's a lot of pictures of your feet.
That is. It is.
And almost every single picture is of your feet. There might have been just one or two that I noticed scrolling through. Didn't have your feet in them.
Yes.
Like maybe your hands, but obviously your feet are the stars.
Mm-hmm. There was a Christmas one where I have a cartoon image of Jesus and said, "It's almost my birthday."
Oh, really?
I was being fun that day.
Did you get presents from that one?
No, I barely got any likes from that one.
Gosh.
You know.
I guess the people want feet.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Thought I could be silly, but...
And so I noticed that your pictures are really creative.
Thanks.
Yeah. The good quality, good framing.
Mm-hmm.
Some are black and white and moody. You know, you mix up the backgrounds and the poses. Like, it's amazing.
Yes.
How creative you are with all these pictures. Sometimes we see, half of your face, and we definitely see your hair.
Yes.
Are you at all worried that someone that knows you well would definitely recognize you or your house, the backgrounds and so forth?
That has been a constant thought in the back of my head. I went from thinking, well, if I don't show my face, then no one will know who I am.
Yeah.
But a lot of these pictures are taken in my home, and a lot of people can say, oh, well, that looks a lot like, Amy's bathroom, or that looks a lot like the outside of Amy's home.
Right.
So yeah, and what I had to do is to protect myself, and I blocked a lot of people from ever stumbling across it. And to be honest with you, if you don't have any passion to look at feet, you're not going to stumble across it.
And given that it's I assume a fairly narrow interest, the likelihood of somebody is even smaller running across your page.
Correct. There's only one person in my life that I know would probably try to look for it. But that's a whole nother topic.
Okay. There's a picture that looks like you're at a dinner party and a man's face is clearly visible.
That is exactly who I was referring to.
Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's
yes.
looking at your feet in this picture.
Can I tell you a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The picture we're talking about is on the Secret Room social media pages right now, if you want to check it out. Amy tells us all about that evening coming up after the break. Ahead, Amy tells us how she made money from her page. But first, back to the evening where our friend unwittingly became the subject of one of her posts.
This is a dinner party that I had with some friends. In a typical evening, I'm on my feet all day long. And of course, with having a high arches, my feet get sore. And when I get tired, I always ask my partner if he can squeeze my feet because I, feel restless. And we were all around the table having drinks and having a good time. And I put my feet on my partner's lap and I was like, could you please, squeeze my feet? And then he kind of threw my feet off the floor dramatically because, our friends are watching and he's kind of embarrassed that he would even touch my feet because it's more of a touching me, in such a way. It's more of a private thing.
Yeah, it's intimate.
Intimate, yeah. And so he said no. And then I kind of gave him a little, he doesn't want to help me. And my friend to my other side of me, he goes, well, hey, why don't you bring your feet over here and let me help you out? And of course, all of us had something to drink. Mm-hmm. And it was probably within a couple seconds that my brain clicked and I said, oh, I understand what is going through his mind right now.
Right. Because you've been exposed to this world.
Correct. I was already immersed a lot in this world, and I had no clue that this was going through his mind. In that picture, he was basically measuring how tiny my feet were, and he did actually massage my feet for a good 5 seconds until I kind of pulled away and I felt kind of awkward. The person who took the picture thought it was hilarious, and then she texted me later. But it seemed like it was all funny, haha. I felt uncomfortable because I figured out what was actually going through his mind, and I wanted to change a topic and move on, with him touching my feet. So,
but you got some content and you posted it.
Yeah, I did.
How did that picture do?
Can you click on? Oh, there, I see that. I only got 61 likes from that, but that was in the very, very beginning. I have had other pictures that have substantially larger. But that was, you can see the energy in that picture. You can see I'm laughing.
Yeah.
It was a fun evening. It was really fun.
It's a cute picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those pictures that's like a snapshot in time.
Yes.
There's movement, there's motion, everybody's laughing, and you can tell people are having a good time. Yeah,
we're playing cards. We have the drinks out. It was a very nice memory of a great time with friends.
There's another picture that stuck out to me.
Okay.
It's one in a men's restroom.
Oh, yes.
And you are posed on your knees. The picture's from the back, and it looks kind of like you're under arrest.
Yes.
Sort of.
Correct.
And I'm wondering what motivated you to do that picture and how you made it happen.
Okay, that's a great question. I have had a lot of people ask me about that picture too. That picture is a unisex bathroom at my YMCA. And it is a bathroom that has a regular toilet and a urinal. And I thought it was more down that lane of, ooh, she's being sneaky. Ooh, she's in a man's bathroom.
That's the way it looks.
So many questions. What are you doing in there? What's happening? And the way I pose the picture is, again, my back is facing the camera. I'm on a very thin towel. I'm balancing. It's almost like a yoga pose. So I have my hand up against the wall where I'm steadying myself and I'm counting down to when I know the camera is going to shoot. So I probably took that picture about 25 times before I got it in that pose.
Well, I fell right into your trap, didn't I?
Yes, you sure did.
It's a great picture.
Thank you.
And so were you afraid somebody was going to walk in?
It was locked. It's just a single stall.
Perfect.
It's a very large bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you could be at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's so, you're like, how does she get in there?
How's she doing this?
Who can see that happening,
When you started the Instagram account, you were posting pictures of your feet for artistic purposes.
Yes.
And you were planning on going for just a couple of weeks. But why didn't you stop?
Well, it was if you really dig down, like being a therapist, it's basically the whole idea that you're getting attention, you're getting more and more likes, and it basically started snowballing. And when you post a picture, you basically have to choose hashtags to get people to type in a word to find something that applies to your picture. So I was using a rotation of hashtags that applied to each of my pictures. And that's how I was getting a fan base. But it really started snowballing. And it was getting to a point where I was getting like 100 followers in less than a week. And it just kept going and going. And I've made a lot of great friends that have a foot fetish. And a few of my friends are like, I've never seen anybody snowball this fast or gain so many followers so fast. So for me to walk away from that, I felt like I had more potential in the future. And I felt like I was almost like serving a purpose in some odd way.
Yeah. I mean, you're developing a community.
Correct. Yes, that is for sure.
At what point did it start snowballing?
Let's see. I would probably say around December, November, December. I started in October. I would say December. It started to snowball.
So just a couple of months.
Mm-hmm. When you hit 10,000, it doesn't give you 10,000. It just gives you a decimal point, and that's it. So I had 10.1 or 10.6 or 10.9. So to see that number change was such a thrill. I didn't know it would happen. I didn't know it would show like that. So that was kind of like the drive, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got to 1,000. I can't believe I got to 10,000. I can't believe I got to 15,000. I mean, I was putting a lot of effort into it. At one point, I was doing 3 pictures a day, and I was also doing stories on Instagram. For people who don't know Instagram stories, it is a short few moments. I think it's 15 seconds, if I'm right. I could be wrong.
It's a video.
Yeah, it's a short video where you can choose music to play, and you show a video. And that is one of the biggest things, is that they like seeing the videos. And I would post up to like 2 or 3 a day. And that was what was really helping my snowball, is that people like seeing new content all the time.
Gosh. How much time were you spending a day managing your account?
It was kind of becoming addicting.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at least 2 hours a day or more.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
It is. I mean, if you divide it out between 18 hours, it's not so much. But there was a lot of messages and emails that I had to deal with.
I'm sorry, if you divide it out between 18 hours? What is 18?
Well, when you're awake, I'm just saying, awake time.
Yeah, but you still got to find that 2 hours.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
You were posting 3 stories a day. How many pictures a day?
About 3 pictures.
Okay.
2 or 3 stories a day, 3 pictures. I made sure I had at least one story going, at a time. And I was choosing music too I'm passionate about music. And I think a lot of times it was the music I was choosing too. I would get a lot of messages saying, I love that song, or I haven't heard that in a while, or, it was all depending on the mood I was in.
You're starting to really connect with your audience. You've mastered how to take the pictures. You've learned what people like. You're marketing yourself well with your hashtags and with your frequency and, utilizing the tools that Instagram provides you. And then it really, really starts to grow.
Yes.
Marketing is all about demographics. Have you been able to break down in any way who your audience is?
Yes. I still cannot figure this out, but I would say about 85% of all of my fans are from the East Coast. I don't know why that is.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. I would say about 90% of Americans that would message me were from the East Coast. And I got so used to assuming they're from the East Coast. I would say, so where on the East Coast are you from? And that would startle them. They'd say, how would you know that? And I'm like, that's just something in the water. I don't know.
You're like, I can see you.
Right. And I have a couple of international friends. I have a wonderful friend that I made in Greece. He's a really great guy. I had a couple of friends in Canada, a few in Italy, a few in Germany. But yeah, it was just mostly the East Coast. A couple of people from California area, but yeah.
Did you have a large contingent of people outside of the U.S. following you?
I would probably say about 20% of all my followers are from out of the U.S. If you were to look through some of my pictures, probably half of them, there are foreign words written down that I'd have to translate to understand.
Yeah, so speaking of your comments, I was really impressed. Most of them are pretty short.
Yes.
There's a lot of flame emojis.
Yes.
And heart emojis and smile emojis. Mm-hmm. It appeared to me that all the comments were they were sort of short and innocuous, but also supportive, like nice, how pretty, stuff like that. I saw one that was a little bit more detailed that said, I love how both your second toes fold under your gorgeous big toes.
Yes. Very descriptive. Many people have a certain look that they're searching for. It could be the way the toes are being tucked in when there's a scrunch.
When they see a pose they like, they'll comment on it.
Correct, yeah.
No, I didn't see any harassing or creepy comments, but you probably delete those. But did you
Yes.
Do you get a lot of those?
Yes, it took a little while to figure out what was exactly going on. But basically, there are scammers out there that are trying to poach on women who are trying to make money, mostly foot models and other people out there. These people are called sugar daddies. They call themselves sugar daddies, and they're looking for sugar babies. It sounds silly. What they want to do is act as if they want to scoop up these women that are in need of money and care for them and provide an allowance for them.
Okay.
So I would say about half of my pictures, most of the time I leave the comments up from the sugar daddies. Have you read any sugar daddy comments?
I did see a couple, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times because of the things I say to them, they are embarrassed of themselves and they delete their comments. So the scamming of the sugar daddies is they want a reliable sugar baby that's trustworthy. And what they get on their part is they get a woman who's in need of money. They promise that they will be reliable. If these women could just provide a little bit of money to show how reliable they're going to be to this man that's going to commit and give them money, then if these women just give a $25, $50, or $100, that's going to prove how loyal they are to these men. And then they're going to give them $500 a month, $1,000 a week, $5,000 a month. And it's very sad, but I would get messaged on every single picture. I'd get messaged by one or two scammers, and it would be a robot set up.
Really?
Yep.
So sophisticated.
Yeah, it'd be a robot, and then I would reply back, and I would say not so nice things, and then the robot would reply back, nice to meet you. And I would say, go trip over a knife and die. And they would say, you sound fun. What is your name? So it's just a robot. And, I finally figured it out. And then I would entertain my followers by, replying back really aggressively. And I would say, not today, Satan. So that was my catchphrase.
Right.
Yeah. And it was funny because I actually found a tank top that was glittery and that said, not today, Satan. And my followers got really excited when they saw that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the classic scam, of course. Send me a little money to establish trust, and then I will send you much, much more money back.
Exactly. I never fell for it.
I wonder how many people do.
Sadly, I'm guessing a couple do, because what they do is they ask for what kind of job you have on the side. So they're really hoping you're going to say, oh, I'm a secretary, or I'm a postal worker, or whatever. So they have an idea of what kind of an income. Or as some people say, I'm an accountant, something like that. And they're like, great, she's got a steady income coming in. But once in a great while, as I mentioned before, I've made some amazing friends. I will have a couple of minutes on my hand and I'll message one of my buddies and I'll say, hey, Tom, what should I say to this guy? And he's like, why don't you tell them? And he'll just make up something silly. And then I'll just copy it and send it back. Some things were just crazy over the top. And again, I'm messaging a robot back. So we're just kind of getting our kicks off of messaging a robot. So, it's kind of fun at some points. It's fun, but,
Okay, so you're entertaining yourself.
Yeah, it takes up my time. But then I would screenshot it and send it back to my friend. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Look at this.
Did any of the sugar daddies turn out to be real?
You mean actual real people that wanted to provide money?
Yes.
No, none of them. They're all scammers. Yeah, there has never been a single person. There was one person that kind of gave me that feeling. Okay. But then he turned out to be a used car salesman in Miami that was jacked up on cocaine.
Oh, gosh.
and kept promising he was going to give me money. And after like the third interaction of talking to him, I'm like, why am I messaging this person? He needs to get some help. I'm going to not talk to this person.
When you sent me some notes about your story, you mentioned that there was one person who did manage to scam you.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes, it was a person from, I believe, the UK area. Mm-hmm. And he had an unusual name. I can't even think of the name. And he wanted me to basically make a video where I was showing my feet and then just talking to him, saying his name. And then I think he was going to pay me in an Amazon gift card. So he was showing me that he was doing a transaction by screenshotting things. And then he kept saying, well, you send the picture and I'll finish this up and I'll send this to you. And I was like, well, just send me the Amazon gift card. He's like, it's processing. Don't worry. I'm sending it to you. And then I was waiting and waiting, and I was busy myself. And I was like, I'll just send this to him. He'll send me this. It looks like it's processing. And as soon as I sent it to him, he completely deleted his account.
Oh, brother.
And I had no way of, yeah.
But he didn't even scam you out of any money. He just scammed you out of a picture.
Correct. Yes. but it was my time.
Yeah.
It was an effort and time.
What's so interesting is he's wasting his own time on this. I mean, how ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody has their own fetish. So maybe having a stranger say his name was his outlet.
Curious.
Yeah.
You also mentioned to me that there was somebody who wanted you to financially dominate him.
Yes.
How did that work?
It's called financial dominance. And again, this was something that was brought up in that podcast long ago. So what it is a person who has the income begging to give the other person money, and whatever the amount is, and having the person basically treat them bad and making them feel worthless and demanding to have them give them money. And they wanted to be treated bad. They want to feel like they're being punished or they need to beg for forgiveness. And it gives them a high feeling that way of a stranger talking to them, and it gives them a high by giving a stranger money.
Wow.
Yeah, I was not ever looking for anything like that, but I got contacted by a person in the UK area. And that was a big challenge too, because it's a 7 or 8 hour time difference. So that was a challenge because, he's wanting to talk to me while I'm trying to get to sleep. So he basically wanted to beg and plead to give me money and me to tell him that he's worthless. And then he would send me money to my account, and then he would tell me what a rush that was. And then he wanted to do it again and again. But here I am as a mother, and I'm trying to pack some lunches, or I'm trying to clean the kitchen, or I'm trying to deal with a situation. And he's begging me to give him money. And I'm like, I don't have time for you. And he wants my time, but I don't have the time to give him because I need to be a mother and a wife.
Right.
And he's getting upset that he wants to plead and beg.
Maybe he liked that you were so busy.
Yes, and he reached out to me several times. But the one thing that got me extremely angry and upset with this person was there was a moment where him and I were communicating for a little while, and he was paying me some money, and it was anywhere between $3 to $10 at a time. And this is USD, not pounds. And in my area, there was a very severe storm coming through, and there was threats of a tornado touching down. And I blatantly said to him, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in the basement hiding. I'm afraid for my family's safety. And then he kept messaging me every 20 minutes. Is the storm done? Are you done? Is the storm over with? Can we keep going? And it made me so angry that he didn't see me as a normal person. It didn't have any care for my safety. And then I just started ignoring him. I was just really upset that, he wasn't care for my safety.
Well, he wanted to give you $3.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, that was crazy.
Did you ever meet anybody famous?
Well,
I wow. Bet you didn't see that coming. Stay with me. Amy's journey into the world of foot modeling wasn't without some risk. That's ahead. But first, her brush with fame.
I'm going to try to say this with the straightest face. So okay. I was contacted by a gentleman who said that he was famous.
Okay.
And his intention was to meet with me and to spend an hour with me of touching and caressing my feet. And obviously, this is a complete stranger. And I was very concerned about my safety. And one of the few friends that I had, I contacted him and I said, would you like to come stand in the room if this happens? And he's like, I could be there for you if you would like to. And I said, I'll provide for you whatever you need, transportation or whatever. I'll help you out. So I'm talking to this gentleman who keeps saying that he's famous. And I really have no idea what I'm getting into. And I don't like the idea of a stranger touching me, knowing that it's causing arousal and excitement. And so he says, well, I've done this with other models and I'm famous and I'm a producer and I have these videos out. And I said, well, I would never want my face even shown. I'm very concerned about what this would be like. He said, well, I can forward you a video. So I said, okay. So I'm watching this video of this woman, and this woman basically is just sitting on the edge of a bed, and I think he's laying down. And you can't see her face, but he's very much enjoying licking and touching and whatnot. The thing that threw me off is that he really didn't have any teeth at all.
What?
He was missing at least 4 or 5 teeth.
Okay.
That was something that was just such a, it'd be like if you met somebody with another eye between their head where you just can't not look at that. I'm like, I can't proceed forward with that. I know that doesn't sound nice. It's not nice to say, but that was an immediate, like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want this.
I mean, you have to have some level of attraction.
Correct. Well, yes. And plus, it's a stranger doing intimate things on his end. And I didn't like that. And so he kept saying he was a celebrity. And I finally said to him, I don't want to seem like I'm deep into the celebrity world. But I was like, what are you famous for? And he's like, well, I was on Jerry Springer.
As a guest.
Correct.
That explains the teeth.
So I graciously bowed out and said, I'm going to have to pass.
Jerry Springer talk show.
And thank you for your interest, but I'm sure you can find other models that can help you better. And I took the video he sent of me with another lady, and I showed my friend, and I said, what? This is a different type of a situation happening. So I don't want to be a part of this type of situation.
Did you ever meet any of your followers in person?
No, I never met any of them. I became friends with them and FaceTimed with them or video chat with them. I've made a couple of amazing, wonderful friends that are very appropriate and don't make me feel uncomfortable. A few friends that I can trust to tell more secrets to, and I've video chat with them a few times. Can you guess where they live?
On the East Coast?
Yeah, they're on the East Coast.
Okay, right.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is really an amazing world that you have entered into and created. Mm-hmm. So when we started the interview, you told me that the podcast that got you into all this trouble
yes.
said or had recommended that one way you could make money was to refer your followers off-site to somewhere else where you could sell custom pictures.
Correct.
Did you end up doing that?
I did. I did that, and it created a much larger revenue. This website is called OnlyFans.
Okay. OnlyFans is a site where creators can post content.
Correct.
It's a lot like Patreon.
Yes.
And subscribers pay money to access that content.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. Yep. I had an account going for a little while. I made a lot of money off of that. And gosh, I think I was making about at least $700 a month off of it.
That's great.
It was great. And with that, I was actually showing my face.
Wow. But they were in private posts.
Correct. But people can copy that. They can post it if they want to. So that made me very nervous too.
Did that happen?
It happened, but not through OnlyFans. Yeah, we can talk about that more towards the end.
Okay.
That's what kind of brought me to my end too.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me how the OnlyFans works.
Okay. So basically, it's a subscription. You set your own price, and the OnlyFans company takes a portion out for themselves. And you have your own page, and you create your own content a lot like Instagram, but people have to pay to see it. They can also send you messages. They can also give you tips. And I had a few people that would send me random $5 tips, which was kind of cool. Some people would private message me and saying, hey, can you make some custom work for me? And I will pay you through this app, or I can pay you through a different app. So that was working too. Once in a great while, I would get paid for a custom app that someone sought me out through Instagram. And then I would say to that person, could I also use this on my OnlyFans page? Would you mind if I also show this? And they most of the time say, I don't care. So I'd get paid through meeting, a customer through Instagram, but then I'd also post it on OnlyFans where you'd have to pay to see that content also. So, yeah.
So what kind of things were you posting on the subscription only page?
I was mostly posting pictures that involved my face. I never did anything naked or vulgar. I had some things that looked a little risque that were like more artistic. I could have had my back turned to the camera with my top off. You could just see my back, but I'm not showing any privates at all, but more of like artistic poses. So I was doing that. I was probably posting on OnlyFans only 5 times a week. So I really wasn't putting that much energy into that. Posting up videos would take so long to process too through the app. And I think it had a lot to do with my internet connection or my phone or something like that. It really took a lot of time out of my day too to keep up my Instagram page and also the OnlyFans page.
The OnlyFans page was pretty successful. That's really where you made your money.
Yeah. I had about 60 people following me at once, and my price ranged, I can't remember what I was charging. I think I was charging like maybe $15 a month.
Okay.
But the main problem I had was that OnlyFans, for anyone that's considering being a foot model, OnlyFans is so locked down on their legal areas. I had to give them every single thing possible. I had to give them my ID. They wanted to have my social security number, everything. Basically, they're really afraid of sex trafficking and stuff like that. They want to make sure that everything is completely legal. My problem I had is that my money was going into my account, and it wasn't going into an account that was like an app account. So therefore, my partner could see the money that I was getting. And that made me really nervous because he still to this day doesn't know that I'm a foot model.
When those deposits came in, does it say, deposit from OnlyFans?
No. It has a very weird look, as if like you bought something from a merchant. And I'm assuming that's how it would be on the other end from a person that would subscribe.
Yeah, okay. They're looking out for your anonymity. But did your partner ever notice any of these deposits and question you about them?
I run my own small business, and it was going into my account for my business account.
Okay.
So that's something that he never really looked into.
But you were concerned he might see it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me really nervous.
Right.
And so that's why I basically stopped running my page, because I got to a point where I was like, this isn't worth it. I love my husband, and for him to ask me why he would think I would need money, it just got to a point where I'm like, this isn't worth it. I mean, I wish you could have just went into an app, a cash, like some type of a, outer cash application that I could use, but that wasn't the case.
But the money that you were making was really secondary to it, right?
Correct.
You were doing it because you enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it, but then it came to a point where it was pretty much starting to rule my life. And I felt like I had to keep up with the posts. And it got to a point where I got really sick last February. I don't know if I had COVID or not, but I was very, very ill. I felt guilty that I wasn't posting any pictures. I don't know if you can scroll all the way into February, but you can see like there's a couple pictures where I'm just laying in bed. And I'm like, this is all I can do for you. I felt like the app was ruling my life.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It became quite consuming.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when the pandemic hit, did you find yourself with less opportunity to shoot your videos and pictures at home?
Exactly.
Because more people were around?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I had a lot of custom orders that were really backed up because I didn't have the time to make them.
Business was booming.
Yeah, I had one person that had a very different type of a fetish. It was called, this is something I never shared with you. It's called gigantus, I believe. Have you ever heard that term before?
I have not.
I might be saying it wrong. Gigantus. Giantess. There it is. A giantess, I think. Anyway, what it is I am a giant, and the person who's buying the content is a little person, and they want me to mock them of how tiny they are, and then I'm going to smush them and step on them with my big feet. And so the video camera is on the floor, and my foot is hovering over it, and I'm threatening to squash them. I got paid several times from a nice person that wanted those types of videos, and I couldn't make that because my whole family was home. But it was entertaining on my end because I got to do more of an acting threatening to kill someone with stepping on them, you know? Who gets to do that every day?
So it sounds like, as your world was growing, your followers were growing, you've got, the two sites going, that it was starting to spill over a little bit into other fetishes.
Correct. Yes.
Were there other areas, that you started to explore too? Amy tells us all about it next as we continue. Ahead, I ask Amy if she'll ever tell her husband about her foot modeling career. You'll want to hear her answer. But first, Amy reveals other fetishes she was exposed to.
It wasn't that I was exploring them. They were just kind of popping up in the messages on the comments. There was a picture where I was stretching in my workout outfit. My arms were up. And I had a few people ask me, like, what do my underarms smell like? And so I had a couple people message me asking me to describe that, or I had people ask if they could buy my panties for me, which obviously I would not feel comfortable with that. That would not be a thing I'd be interested in. So a lot of people wanted to buy my shoes to see the imprint inside my feet, but that's more of the foot fetish. But I would say the giantess and the underarm, wanting to know what my arms smell like or what my feet smell like, if I could describe.
How would you describe that?
That's a great question. I don't even know. And I had to actually talk to other followers to say, what is it? What is the scent? And I'm not the type of person to have sweaty socks. So I really don't even know if there was even a scent, but I would just say earthy and sweet. More of like a rubbery shoe smell. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's like, how do you describe what a banana tastes like? Or, describe the color brown, So it's like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to leave with even more questions now.
Yeah.
What were some of the comments that people made that stuck out to you most?
Oh, well, I'm glad you said that. So I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but I love to turn to humor. And there was a lot of things that I don't mean to judge people. I don't ever want to say you're weird, but there are times where things came off so odd that I would have to laugh. And I'm just trying to, I started coming up with, I'm going to look up on my phone now. Mm-hmm. I started saving things on my phone of some things that were just so crazy in my mind. I had a lot of things that I saved that I thought were just beyond unusual. If I were to share this with another friend that has a foot fetish, you'd say, oh, that's kind of odd. One person said, hey, baby, I love you, sexy thing. I love to suck your toes and be with you so I can suck your toes and FFF. Okay. This is a stranger talking to another stranger.
Right.
With international translation,
mm-hmm.
There's some words that don't translate well. So one guy constantly kept saying to me, I want to eat your calculations. Another one that didn't translate well was, why do you like me sex with me?
Okay. How did you answer that one?
I don't. But there was another one that was an Italian one, and I'm not going to try to read it to you in Italian because I don't know the vowel translations, but I translated on Google Translate, and I'm sure, Google Translate gets it 100% right.
Mm-hmm, I'm sure.
But his translation came to, what a good feet. I am really hungry for your feet. I would be hours with your mouth on your feet, and I would always fuck you.
Wow. What a nice sentiment.
I know. It just makes my heart melt.
I'm sure.
But there were a couple of Americans that would say things that there was one guy that was messaging me, and he said, now these are all like direct quotes I copied and pasted. I have a fantasy of you running me over with a car while you are driving barefoot.
That's pretty specific.
Yes. And another one that was, I can never get out of my head. Like I'll wake up at 3 a.m. I'll think of this one. you know what my fantasy is? You are my cousin and I am sucking your toes.
Okay.
So, the gentleman that was really interested he was a straight white man, and he wanted to, and I'm going to be a little explicit, I apologize. I just found this one interesting. He said, I love when a sexy lady with sexy feet teases and encourages me to devour my life to serving a BBC.
Okay.
People can look that up on their own.
You don't want to tell us? It's fine.
Yeah, it's not the television broadcast. Let's just say it's not that.
Good enough.
So there's, I've collected a lot of these comments. Another one is, I want to lick your feet clean and be used as your gagged footstool.
Wow. Sounds like these would play pretty well in front of an audience.
Correct. So I cannot wait till COVID lifts where clubs can be open. And I would love to read a lot of these out to people.
Do you do open? You have a forum where you do that? You do open mic?
Yeah. There's a couple places near me that I could. I could. There was one person that was not a foot fan and somehow stumbled across my page, and he was very upset.
Oh.
And he wanted to message me.
He took offense to your page.
Yeah. I think he was ESL, which is English second language. So he said, in quote, I have a serious question for you. What is so fucking interesting about human feet? Really? What kind of human are you? Feet brainwashing. And what kind of people follow you? Can't you see that they are sick? And you are feeding a bunch of motherfuckers. Is it so hard to understand? You are a human, not a feet. So that kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
Everybody has a sense of what is expected for someone's arousal. And for someone to say, oh, you have a fetish, then you're a bad person or you're not right. And that makes me feel sad, because
cool.
everybody should be able to express themselves and feel like who they want to be. So I saved that one just because it disturbed me enough to want to save it.
Did you write back to him?
I can't remember if I did.
Did you say trip over a knife and die?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not. I just let it be because, it's just like, you can't convince people to accept others. It takes a long time to do that. So there's a couple other ones of gems, but I definitely don't want people to think that people who have a foot fetish are strange, but sometimes there are people that say strange things when they have a foot fetish, but it's not all people. It's just a couple people, and it makes me laugh sometimes.
So you started out posting art pictures, but what was it really?
I was so naive in the beginning. I thought to myself, I'm not a male. I don't have the thoughts that some males have with urges. And I literally thought to myself, here is a dapper gentleman with a monocle and a top hat looking at my feed picture saying, well, that is very exceptional and I appreciate that work. Thank you very much. It is not quite that. It is a lot of arousal going on that I really wasn't thinking. There are many, many, many people out there that are very polite and they don't say what's really on their mind. And then there are a lot of other people out there that are not polite and they say very vulgar things that are on their mind. And it makes me feel bad. And it makes me want to block them or not initiate or not talk, And so my response back is, are you interested in buying videos or pictures? If not, then please keep moving along. I don't want to associate with you.
Did you find that people got vulgar in your private chats?
Once in a while. If they would, I would just completely stop talking. For me, it's nothing that I find sexual on my end. It's just a way of me making money. So I would kind of ignore things and I'd be like, let's, finish the process. What are you looking for? These are my rates. And if you're not interested in paying for things, then I'm going to move along. Have a good day.
Would they ask you to do things that you didn't like?
Yes, many, many times. There would be things to ask, a lot of graphic nudity things, and that's not what I wanted to produce. I actually got to know a couple of foot models, and we kind of had a referral where we would say, this is not the type of work I would do, but here is maybe somebody that can help you with that.
Oh, okay. That's good. Pass the work forward.
Yeah, exactly.
You had mentioned in your secret a couple of requests that people had made, like, activities with your feet.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about those?
For custom videos, I had a lot of fun things or a couple different types of things. I had one person that wanted me to do some type of like martial arts where I was kicking and saying, "Hi-ya!" So that was kind of fun. He's like, "Can you wear a workout outfit, preferably with your waistline showing, and then just do, as I call it, kicky foot moves?" So I did that. That was fun. And I think I did that a few times for him. I had another person that wanted me to pour honey down my feet and just record honey running down the back of my feet. A couple of things that I said no to. I've actually had 4 or 5 different people request this. Stepping on insects and killing insects. Just the logistics of thinking of bringing insects into my home to keep them contained to step on them is very interesting. Where I live in the Midwest, we don't get cockroaches. So it's not like I can find a cockroach in my house and step on one. I don't find it interesting to step on a bug and smush a bug. Why kill a life like that? Go out of my way to buy bugs. I would say no. And the price would go up and up and up. Of course, they could be lying. They may want to swindle me, but they would offer to pay me like $150 and all that. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. That's not what I want to do.
In your submission, you had mentioned a couple of other things that got a little bit more on the sexual side too, like a foot job or like licking your feet.
Yes.
Tell me about those.
Yeah, there's a lot of different wordings. There is a word, the term foot job. So foot job basically in the sexual world is having a foot rub up and down on a particular item. Of course, I don't have that item, so people want you to use other objects to refer to it being that item as a prop. And that would be something I didn't really feel comfortable with doing. It didn't really feel natural to me. I didn't really want to do that. So self-worship is when you lick and kiss your own feet. I think maybe once or twice I tried to do that where I put like honey on my feet, and I did that for my OnlyFans page. And I thought it was kind of odd. It was very an unusual thing. But once COVID came around, I was flat out, I'm not doing that. And
why?
I feel like toenails are tighter against the skin than fingernails, and getting every single crevice, and I walk bare feet a lot in my home.
I see.
And the idea of possibly putting a virus into my body just to make, $50, that's just ridiculous. So I would say back to the people messaging me, I would say, would you want to risk your life to get yourself sick where you couldn't go to work or take care of your family? I said, that's something that I will not do.
It must be a little bit exhausting to continuously come up with new poses for your feet.
Yes.
So what did you use for inspiration?
I almost had like a rotation. There was 2 or 3 poses that was a huge fan favorite. So I try to do that once every couple of days.
Oh, what were those?
One pose is a booty pose where I would basically on my knees. The camera's facing my back and my feet are all scrunched up, and you can see the shape of my bottom. I'm obviously dressed, but you can see the shape of my back end kind of squishing my feet, so making the wrinkled feet. That was a pose where they get the back end and the feet together. It's like a bonus.
Okay.
I'm very photogenic, so a lot of people like the look of a natural woman in a natural setting. And I would sit on the edge of my kitchen countertop early in the morning, and I would be in my pajamas. Sometimes I would have a little bit of an outlining of my top where I'm just wearing a top in my pajama bottoms. But, you could definitely see that it was cooler in the room.
Okay.
I would just be holding a coffee mug and with my feet showing. And the idea of seeing a girl in her, in her jammies without any makeup on, but of course I wouldn't have my whole face showing. That was very, very, that natural look of just the morning time would be really interesting to some people.
So, Amy, how active is your page right now?
Well,
are you still posting?
No, I'm not posting anymore. I've had a couple of things occur which really made me choose to leave the foot modeling. I had two things that occurred that really scared me, and I decided to walk away.
Gosh, what were they?
Well, the first one is a slight bit of a story. I'm trying to think of how to sum it up quick. Basically, I kind of became friendly with one guy who had a nice, kind of like a dark humor like myself. He in the past had purchased videos or live chats from me, and a live chat is basically I just wiggle my toes around and their mic is muted and their screen is blocked out, and they just look at my feet live, and they might say, scrunch your toes up or wiggle your toes around or something like that, and I'm just reading a book, making easy money. It's silly, but that's something still. I remember watching Golden Girls for like 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden I see end call, and then I have money in my account because I just watched Golden Girls and squeezed my toes.
Well, there you go.
Right? Well, what happened is him and I had a friendship, and we enjoyed just chatting. He openly shared with me that he was bipolar. Didn't bother me at all. One day he started telling me things that just didn't make sense, and he started saying to me that he had prostate cancer and that he needed to ejaculate to be able to relieve pressure in his body from all of his cancer. And I've known people who had prostate cancer, and this did not sound like something that really made sense. And he was married also, and he's like, I don't want my wife to see any of these charges. And he was all of a sudden like, well, I really can't pay you, kind of pressuring me to wanting to do a video for free. I have about 3 or 4 friends that are from my followers, and they would have never asked me to do this because they're very wonderful people that respect me. And I kind of felt pressured, and I actually did it one time, and I felt really weird about it, but I kept thinking, well, I guess he has a problem. But then I would start Googling it. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I think he's just lying to me to get something he wanted. And then I felt bad, and I'm like, I feel like he's using me. I'm like, this is not a friendship. This is just not a good person. I kind of stopped talking to him. I don't want to have this as a friend in my life. Something really bizarre happened. Probably a good 6 or 7 weeks later, I got a private message from his wife.
Oh.
Yeah. She said, how do you know my husband? And I was freaking out because I was like, well, I guess she doesn't know me. And I said, oh, your profile picture is so pretty. It's nice to meet you. Why don't you ask your husband how he knows me? I didn't know what to do because I wanted to just block everybody and hide under my bed and, rock back and forth like, I can't believe this is happening. So I managed to get a hold of this guy, and I had blocked him. And I was like, why is your wife contacting me? He was like, I don't know.
He doesn't sound too worried about it.
Yeah. And so I was trying to be polite, and I said, I'm a foot model, and I didn't really say anything else. And she's like, well, whatever you've done in the past, I want you to keep doing whatever it was because he's not okay and he really needs relief. And I thought, this is obviously him hacking his wife's account, messaging me, because what type of a person would be that supportive of their partner where they're turning to another person for help? And I thought it was just crazy, and it made me very, very sad because I'm guessing there's partners out there that will accept things of their other partners, but I just found it very disturbing, and it made me very uncomfortable. So that was one of them that I found disturbing. With my Instagram account, I basically would never show my face, but once in a great while, I would do a live video. And so I would, hit the live video feed, and everyone could see my face, and everyone can comment and ask me questions, and I would answer questions back, and then I'd promote my OnlyFans page. Once in a great while, like if I'm cooking and having some music on, I thought, well, maybe I'll go live for a few minutes, and I'll do a little, like a dance, or I'll slowly pull my socks off. Just do that for a moment. I can't remember what month it is. Maybe it was in January or February, but I made a little short video, and I had music playing in the background, and I sat on a bar stool, and I just slowly pulled my socks off, and I wiggled my feet, and then I did a little kind of fun dance, and it was just like a couple minutes. And in the background, I heard one of my kids calling for me, and I could sense they were coming into the room, so I just turned the camera off. Well, somebody recorded that live feed of me being on Instagram. They recorded that without permission from me, and they posted it on YouTube without my permission.
Wow. How did you find that?
My wonderful friend who lives in Greece messaged me and he said, I stumbled across this. And he's like, do you know that this is out there? And I felt so violated and so angry. And so I went to go watch it. And there was only about 20 or 30 views, but it was snowballing and the views have been growing. I haven't looked at it in weeks, but the last time I looked at it, there was like 1,500 views of it. And there was like one or two comments. And there, a lot of times when people post these videos, other viewers will just assume that that was the creator who made the video. So someone was like, "You're amazingly beautiful. I wish I could meet you someday." They're saying that to a complete stranger who's a gentleman, or not a. He's not a gentleman, not a nice person who posted this without my permission. And so I logged on to YouTube and I made a comment back, and I said, "Well, thank you for that comment. This is my video, it belongs to me. That's my face. That's the sound of my daughter's voice, and I didn't give permission for this. And I'm really sorry that this got uploaded." And I tried to write to YouTube to ask for them to bring it down, and YouTube said that I didn't have the right to take it down, which I don't understand. And I also had music, which was a copyright in the background, and I haven't checked it in a while. I haven't checked it in a couple of weeks. Maybe it did get taken down, but YouTube basically said I didn't have the authority to claim that it was a copyright infringement. So it really bothered me that somebody could save, a video of me that I had live. I mean, I chose to make that video.
Did you ask the person who posted the video to take it down?
I sent him a message directly under the comments, and then I tried to find him through Instagram, and I sent him a really nasty message, and it turned out that it was like this young kid that had used that username on a YouTube name. It was like he used a user YouTube name, but that wasn't him. So I said all these mean things to this kid, and he's like, "That's not me." So he's like, "I'm sorry that happened to you, but it wasn't me." But I mean, he could have been lying, but there's really nothing I can do. It's just this video that's out there. You can see my home, you can hear my kid's voice, and it made me want to walk away from all of it. I was just so upset.
I can see why you walked away from it.
Yeah.
Did you feel a sense of emptiness when you left, though? Because it had taken up so much of your life. It was something you really focused on every day. You really committed yourself to it.
Yeah.
And you had created this world, and then just to let it go, it must have been hard to walk away from.
It was a little bit hard to walk away with, but what I did walk away with was a few friendships. I feel like I have brothers that I've never had before, and people that respect me. Obviously, I'm not having that type of money come through anymore, which, that was nice. It was paying for pedicures, let's be honest.
Business expense.
Yeah, I like
Right.
that I have more free time. I like that I don't have that pressure to post things.
So it's a little bit of a relief, weight off your shoulders.
It is. It sure is. It is a good relief. It's nice. And now I'm finding myself taking a lot of cat pictures.
You started a new Instagram about cats?
No, just I have cats. I like to take pictures of cats or flowers or sunsets. And
Do you think you'll ever tell your husband about it?
Well, because we had a friend with a foot fetish, I've tried telling him before about that community. And I think he thinks it's a little bit more of a fantasy of a joke, this is something that Quentin Tarantino made up, which, by the way, Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish.
Okay.
If you ever watch a couple of his movies, there's a lot of close-ups of women with their bare feet. I don't think he thinks it's a real thing, and I think that because I'm talking to strangers, he wouldn't be happy with that. But hopefully he can trust me. I'm hoping he would have faith and trust that, I'm not looking for a thrill of stepping out of my marriage, But I don't know. I would rather not bring it up. It might cause more harm than, keeping it as it is.
Do you consider what you were doing a form of sex work?
Oh, that's a good question. There is a article that I read that was explaining all of these circles of sex work. And the innermost core are, prostitution and pornography. And the very, very outer core are gynecologists, because gynecologists help women with their sexual health and reproductive. And I feel like I'm probably within that core of how a gynecologist helps a woman with her sexual needs, and I'm helping people with their needs, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess on some very, very gray, very, very light white grayish area.
Okay, you're on the spectrum. I mean, you never did
I guess
meet
I am
anybody.
the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I never directly touched someone. I had somebody that messaged me once in a while. He would say, "I'm coming up to meet you." And I was like, "I'm not interested in that." And he's like, "Well, you would be if I came to see you." And it was almost more of like a cat and mouse game where I was just like, is that right? Is that what you're going to do?
Right.
And he would say, "You're going to wear that outfit from this one picture and I'm going to take you out for dinner." I'm like, "So you're going to tell me what I have to wear and then you're going to take me out for dinner and you're a total stranger?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "And you live 17 hours away from me and you're just going to come up and do that?" He's like, "Yeah." So, a few months would go by and he's like, "I'm still going to take you out." I'm like, well, you still haven't come here yet. And last time I heard, he said he would be up here in August.
And so, Amy, you've walked away from your pages, but you've left them up.
Yes.
Why is that?
That is a great question. I feel like this is so many hours of artwork that I have created. There is many times where I have waited for the moment I get inspired by an idea and I'm like, "Ooh, look at this. I can try this and that. And the lighting's like this." It's basically artwork that I don't have saved on my phone anymore. And if I decide to delete the account, then I just delete everything. I delete all of this artwork. I feel like if I just let it be, let it sit there, it's not really going to harm me. I can choose to message people back if I want to, but I'm not wanting to sell things anymore or communicate to people anymore. I've just moved forward. I feel like I can move forward, but still leave it there. It's just kind of a part of my life, I guess.
So it looks like your last post was just 6 weeks ago.
Yes. Did you see what I wrote?
Yeah, that's all, folks. Nice sign off. And you've got some comments. Let's see what people say.
Oh, boy.
Are your feet smelly, calloused, and are your toenails... I'm not going to read that.
That gentleman made the same... I think he was a foreign person. He made the exact same comment on about 30 of my pictures. I think he just copied and pasted.
Gosh. Here's somebody says, done with Instagram, ? Sad.
Yeah. And, as I said before, I made just a few friends, and I have another Instagram personal page, and I invited them to be my friends on my other page. But I feel like I've ended the chapter of that in my life, and I'm ready to move forward.
So as long as this page is up, there is still the chance that somebody perhaps that man in the picture,
he is blocked,
could find you.
I know this person enough to know their social media skills in searching, and I know that he would not pursue things more to actually try to find things. So I'm not worried.
There could be other people lurking in your life that like feet.
That is true. There is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But it's a chance you're willing to take. You've invested all this time and you're going to leave it up.
Yeah. For a little while, at least.
Yeah.
How about until you post this podcast?
All right. For sure.
How about we give it a couple weeks? How about that?
You're free to delete it whenever you like. But yeah, if you leave it up, can we tell our listeners where to find it?
Sure. Would you like to share?
I'd be happy to link to it. Absolutely. What's the, you want to tell us the name of your Instagram account?
It is 5.5 feet obsession. So 5.5 feet obsession.
Got it. Okay. Everybody go.
Check it out.
Quickly before Amy takes it down.
Yeah, that's right.
And so do you think you'll tell your followers about your appearance on the podcast?
Yes. When this is produced and up, I will definitely share it with everyone. I'll make a couple stories out of it.
Well, they'll probably get a kick out of hearing you on the show and about all your experiences, the ups and downs of running a foot fetish Instagram account.
Yeah. For any woman or man out there that are interested in starting something like this. I think it's really good to know. One important thing is it was less than 1% of people that actually paid me of my followers. So I feel like a lot of people think just because I have a big following that I had a lot of people paying me, but it's, it has a lot to do with the OnlyFans page too. So
Conversion rate's pretty low.
And all those sugar daddies you got to deal with too.
Right. The fake sugar daddies. Who knew that was such a problem?
A big problem.
Yeah. So Amy, you are a self-described podcast aficionado.
Yes.
How did you hear about The Secret Room?
Well, Ben, a good friend of mine who was a follower of mine told me about your podcast.
Wonderful.
Can you guess where he lives?
The East Coast.
You got that right.
So do I, by the way.
Wow, surprise, surprise.
Well, Amy, I want to thank you so much for sharing, this really fascinating story and giving us some insight into what goes on behind these accounts. It's really, really been very interesting.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride for me.
Well, thank you again.
Well, thanks, Ben.
Welcome. Amy and I recorded this interview in September, and she had intended to keep her Instagram page up for you until this interview aired, but unfortunately, Instagram disabled it just a couple of weeks later. The reason? For violating our terms. That's a quote. And Amy can't figure out what term she violated. She has theories. Maybe it was because she linked to OnlyFans or because she was asking for donations. She just doesn't know. She's petitioned Instagram several times to have her page restored, but there hasn't been any response. However, she did make a backup page, which is still up. It only goes back to March, but it is a consolation that some of her work can still be viewed. You can see it now at 5.5 feet_obsession. I'll link it in the show notes and on social, so it's easy for you to find. And more good news. While the pictures we talked about in the interview are not on Instagram anymore, I just might have grabbed them before her page went down. Would you mind if I lifted a couple of pictures from your account?
Of course.
Probably like the bathroom picture, because we talked about that.
Sure.
Could I post a picture from the dinner?
Yeah, I guess definitely if you can blur his face out.
Okay, I'll blur his face out. You can find them on the show's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts right now at Secret Room Pod.
And in 1 week on The Secret Room Unlocked, Amy joins me for a candid one-on-one follow-up.
Obviously, before I became a foot model, I never walked around thinking, is this guy looking at my feet?
And now you do. We talk about her page takedown, her plans for a backup page, and why she's come out of retirement for a bit and posted some new shots.
That's Susie Lark. You can hear her backstage analysis of every episode of The Secret Room when you support at patreon.com/secret room. Go subscribe now and don't miss out on any of the mayhem. Production support this week on your favorite indie podcast that could. Susie Lark, Bobby Joe Valdez, Alessandro Nigro, and the Street Secret Team. Chet is the sound engineer, and our music and theme are by Breakmaster Cylinder. Do you have a truculent secret to share? Send it to me now through our website, secretroompod.com. Just click the Share a Secret button when you get there. I'm so glad to have welcomed you into the Secret Room today. Join me again in just 2 weeks when someone new steps forward to share yet another amazing secret. From Washington, D.C.
This is The Secret Room, a podcast about the stories no one ever tells.
I'm Ben Ham. Pod on, Amy.
Pod on, Ben.